Hi everyone, welcome to UTV Gooner and our show, The Shooting Lone Star with Ram from the Austin Gooners. Hey bro, how are you?
What's up, man? Just it's been a cold week in Austin, very eventful, but I got my power back. I'm feeling real good and refreshed, and um excited to get the Premier League on and started. I got the Chelsea Fulham match in the background, so just started my weekend already. So I'm ready to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure, bro. Exciting. Premier League back tomorrow. We got the early kickoff against Everton. Before we talk about
Oof.
that, though, let's talk about the transfer window.
Yeah.
So we brought in Jorginho on the last day of the window. What were your thoughts on us signing him?
It's been sort of uh like a really topsy-turvy transfer window, right? Like, we had Mudryk that we were about to sign, and then that didn't happen. And then Caicedo we were supposed to sign, or not necessarily we were supposed to sign, we were going after them, and then that didn't happen as well. So it's just been like a roller coaster of emotions. Um, and this Jorginho guy is like a very like polarizing guy, but I'm on the side of like I'm actually happy with it. Like I think we were talking about it too on WhatsApp, but like yeah, I know for the most part, a lot of Arsenal fans and supporters are kind of annoyed by the fact we're getting an older Chelsea player, right? Like, we're kind of buying their retirees, if you will. Um, but like, we're not signing him to start, and it's only going to be like a 18-month contract and maybe an option for a year at the end of that. So it's not. I don't have the same reservations or the same fears that a lot of supporters have. I think it's actually a real. The words I'm hearing is shrewd and like pragmatic. Like I think it's a pragmatic signing. I don't think it's like the exciting signing we were all hoping for. Um, and that's it's natural to feel a little bit disappointed or what have you. But I think it addresses a need that we had in our squad in midfield. I still think we're a little bit light in midfield. Lokonga goes out on loan. El Neni gets hurt. So like, and then Neni, we found out that he's gonna be like a long-term injury, basically on the last day of the transfer window. So I think it was impossible to like sign two guys, right? But we got one in, which is what we essentially wanted to round up our transfer window to three people. Um, and I think it was a good one. Like I think ultimately we'll be okay with the signing because he's going to be a good. Again, he's going to be a bench player, right? In best case scenario, he gets maybe 10 to 15 appearances off the bench, some Europa League, and some of those are going to be maybe Europa League, um, and late game substitutions, right? And if we need some kind of change of pace, so it's not like Willian, for example, where we were signing him to start a 33-year-old on a 3-year contract, or David Luiz, who we were signing to start as well, same kind of age. Although it's another discussion for another day, but I thought David Luiz was a pretty decent signing, all things considered. But anyway, but like the point being, like we're not signing him to start, and we're not signing him for a long-term deal. So I think it works. I think it's going to be a pretty good signing overall because he's like a good player. Like I don't necessarily know a ton about him, so I don't want to like speculate. But everything I've read about him and understood about him, like his name comes up. I mean, he was with the Italy squad. Unfortunately, he was on a couple of Chelsea squads that won Champions League and cups and here and whatnot. So I mean, he knows how to win, and he's the cat. He was the captain, so it's not like he's some kind of scrub player that Chelsea's kind of fucking off, right? Like, I mean, he's a good player, so I think he's going to provide a good piece to the puzzle that we need to push for the title. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's got a lot of experience, played a lot of big games, and that's going to help us as we know we go into the title running, get into them last 10 games, a lot of pressure games there, and having some of that experience will help us. We've got a very young squad. So I think it's a really good signing in terms of a backup option for Partey and have someone of a high caliber. I think he's very good on the ball. Slowing down a little bit, he's not Matt Young is 31, but he's never really been part of his game to have that pace. He's more about his ability to control in midfield, passing it about. He's very good at passing. So I think
Mhm.
he really well, finding our attacking players, creating space for them, and he's also a very good penalty taker.
Yeah.
So yeah, and a lot of people are speaking to were surprised that Chelsea actually sold him.
Hmm.
It's just started one of their recent games. I think the last game they had against Liverpool, he was one of their starting players. So yeah, I think we got a very good deal as well. We look at the value for money, didn't pay much at all. I know he's only got 6 months left on his contract, so that's why we got it at such a good price. But yeah, I think we've done really well to get him in. And overall, I think we've done so good in this transfer window. We know January's normally a hard one. Remember last year, the frustration we had, we're trying to get someone in. We couldn't sign anyone in the end. But this time we've managed to get 3 players in. So how would you overall rate our transfer window out of 10?
Yeah, I would say, if I don't want to like use the fact that we didn't get Mudryk or Caicedo as sort of like, I don't want it to hurt the grade, because we're not alone in not getting our first choice players, right? Like, I know people want to make it out to seem like Edu is this terrible negotiator, and I mean, I'm not saying he's immune to criticism, but like, this is just the way it is, right? It's really hard to make deals in January, and it's really hard to get top players when you have to compete with teams with bigger budgets and or what have you, and the better players are going to be harder to get, more expensive to get. So I think, all things considered, I really think we got like everybody we needed to get, and so I would give it like a 8 out of 10. Like, I think we did really good, all things considering. And then again, that's leaving out the fact that obviously a little bit disappointed that Mudryk, like we didn't get Mudryk or Caicedo, like big names, or big top talents that are really young, that have a lot of potential, would have been very exciting, right? But I think we had a very pragmatic window. So I'm gonna give it like an 8 out of 10, because you know the only don't I would take those 2 points off mainly because like we're still kind of short in midfield, but ultimately like injuries happen, and there's only so much you can do on the last day. So we got somebody, we responded well, and we got Trossard, and he's gonna be looking pretty good. We got Kiwior, however you say his name, and he's gonna really help the center back position. And we got a guy on the bench, which was essentially we needed somebody to be a deputy to Thomas Partey, and um, I think we're going to be okay. He's an upgrade, and he's an upgrade over El Neni. As much as I love Mohamed El Neni, like Jorginho is not no brainer in terms of he's an upgrade, and that's who he's replacing. So that's where we're at. 8 out of 10.
Okay, well, yeah, I'd say very good. As we're saying, it's hard to get players in January. For us to get 3 players in, we've addressed the light squad that we have had. As you're saying, it's still not in midfield how we'd want it to be, but having 3 extra players in is really going to help us. I think the Trossard signing is amazing. He looked really good in that City game. And talking of a City game now, let's go into that. You got it right when it came to team selection. I thought Arteta would go more or less full strength. I thought he maybe rest 1 or 2, maybe rest Partey and maybe 1 or 2 others, but he actually ended up making 6 changes.
Yeah,
Went into that game, it's showing obviously it's not our priority. We know it's not our priority this season. We're in such a great place in the Premier League, so it's a right call. But I just was thinking maybe he might go full strength because there was no midweek game before it or after it, and there was this 8-day break before this next game against Everton. But he made the 6 changes, and the way we performed still was outstanding. I was so impressed. Like that first half, I thought we had the better of it. We're a better team, have a better chances. And then in the second half, we still played well. Unfortunately, Partey had to come off at half time. That was a big worry at the time. I was hoping there's nothing serious with his injury. It turns out it's all okay. But
yeah,
then we saw Lokonga come in, as we said, he's still got a long way to go in his development. He needs much more experience. playing in that role. So we did like in the second half, we're not as good as the first half, but we still fought really well. They scored a very good goal. Not a lot we could do about that goal, but we really gave them a good game and it was very competitive. I think we've really closed the gap to them. They're full strength team out there as well. It was also very good to see how we dealt with Haaland. Got to credit Rob Holding in that first half. He had to use a bit of physical tactics with him, but done the job. Got a booking, unfortunately, but he did do a great job on him. And then when Saliba came on as well, second half, done a great job. Gabriel played throughout first half and second half, and all three of our centre backs dealt with Haaland really well. So that was good to see. What are your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I well initially I missed it because I was at a work event, so I had to actually like kind of watch on my phone and watch bits and pieces, and then I kind of doubled back and sat and rewatched the whole game. And yeah, I think my first impression was like yeah, I think we kind of did the best of both worlds in terms of like approach to the game. Like we did those big changes. Like yeah, as you said, what was it, six changes across the board? But it was a relatively strong team, and it looks like we went toe to toe. Like considering how many people we subbed on or started rotated, excuse me, we really took it to Man City, who basically went out with a full squad, and I was thoroughly impressed, man. And actually, just really, really disappointed at the goal we gave up. I thought Turner had a really, really awesome game. Big shout out to the USA goalkeeper. And it was just some sloppy defending on the back end, but we rotated that whole group. Um, so I'm not saying it was expected, but it's just one of those things. Like I don't think with a full team, I don't think we give up a goal like that. And then at the same time, that's exactly the kind of goals that Man City get. Like they just they just come at you, and before you know it, like a lot of their goals recently in the games I've watched, I've noticed are very similar to what Ake got. Like it's just they pulverize you and then they just beat you down, and before you know it, they get a cheap goal, and you're just like, oh come on. But I mean, that's what good teams do, and so they did that to us. But I thought we responded well. I was really happy with Martinelli's body language that he showed as soon as he ran onto the field. It was like trying to get everybody pumped up. And I mean, he provided a good spark off the bench. But then at the same time, a really telling thing was when he took Saka off, like in the 74th minute, he kind of was like, okay, like Arteta has a bigger prize in mind, right? So you're not gonna unless you have somebody better than Saka, you're not gonna take him off in a game where you're down 1-0 and you need a goal, right? So that was telling. As you said, the party injury is a little bit scary, but he seems to be all right. Um, yeah, like I said, I think going into it, I was hoping we would win and continue to go on in the cup, because the FA Cup is fun. Like I do like watching those games and seeing the good mix of big teams and smaller teams, and it's a cup that we have the most wins in overall, and it would have been nice to kind of see that, have us go for like a double, if you will, domestically. But um, whatever, kind of move on from there. It wasn't. I didn't really like lose too much sleep over it, if you will, or like go into any much analysis over it. And then a lot of the podcasts I listened to and articles I was reading weren't really like dwelling on the loss that much. It was just more like, hey man, we went toe to toe with these guys with as much rotation as we went. So it just kind of really shows the growth of the team. Just like Arteta said, like there's going to be an opportunity to see where we were, and if we pull off the win, great. But if not, it's on to Everton. So and that's the attitude I got. It wasn't like Nottingham Forest last year where we just totally fucked that up. Um, it sucks. It sucks to lose, but again, as I've been saying, the losses we've had, like, have always been the perfect losses to have, because it allows us. It's almost like it allows Arteta to have some film to go over, to get mad, to be like, "Hey, we lost. Let's do better." But it's ultimately, at the end of the day, not a very consequential loss, so we'll be all right.
Yeah, we played so well, and we can see how much better we've got. As you said, you had a Nottingham Forest game last season. With the changes we made in that game, we really struggled. We didn't even have a shot on target in that game against them.
It's horrible, yeah, it was a nightmare.
Now we're able to make 6 changes and still play at a really high level. All the players that came in played really well. So it's amazing. The level we've got to now. We're a match for City and very confident we can beat them here. Counting down to that one, bro. 15th February, not long to go. They're really excited. So yeah, let's get into now the Premier League action coming up this weekend. And so for us, we got Everton.
Hmm.
Also kick off tomorrow. They've just had a new manager appointed, so there's a chance of that bounce effect that you get with the players wanting to impress the new manager. Difficult game for us as well in terms of our recent record there. I was looking at it, and we've not beaten there since 2017. We've lost the last couple of years there, so it's been hard for us there in recent times. Going to be a tricky one. What's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, exactly as you ended it is how I'm going to start it. It's going to be a tricky one. It's going to be an early one too. For us, it's going to be 6:30 a.m. kickoff. I'll be at the tavern or meet for the games with some breakfast and all that good stuff. But yeah, we should have a good crowd. But yeah, it's going to be an early one. It's going to be a tough one, I think. I'm not buying into the fact that it might be like it's a game that we can easily win. I think it's going to be more difficult than we hoped it would be. As you said, new manager bounce. This guy Deich, I forget what's his first name, Sean, Sam,
Sure.
Sean Deich is he's almost the perfect kind of manager to kind of lead this team. To, Everton is fighting relegation, so you want this kind of hard nosed, old school kind of coach um, to to try and put up a fight and kind of hope they stay in the Premier League. So he as we talked about off the camera, like those Burnley games, man, where they just kind of sit back, park the bus, and get lucky on a counter attack. That's what it's going to be. But what I think is, and kind of like what Newcastle did. But what I think is, Everton is not as talented as Newcastle are. Um, so I think they're going to try and do the same kind of thing and stifle us from scoring. But I think we're going to eventually break them down. I think the big key in the game is for us to take ownership of the game early. We're probably going to have a lot of possession early on, or overall in the game, but especially early on. And I think it's going to be very important to kind of make the most out of that. So, I'm going to want to see like us not try and pass or cross the ball into the box, but just kind of like try and go down the middle against these guys, and let's see if we can, maybe get a penalty, a deflection, or something in the box or to just score a goal early on. And I think that'd be great for our away fans and great for this team to kind of take hold. Because I just don't think they're going to be that threatening. I don't really even know like who their attacking guys are. So it's going to be a nervous game, I think, and it's going to be a nervous start. But I think ultimately we're going to um, dominate. I think we're going to dominate possession. I don't think that's a very easy thing to predict. Um, and I think we're going to end up winning something like 2-0. But it's not going to be as comfortable as like a 2-0 looks like. Might be 1-0 for a long time, and we might have to fight them off a little bit. But I think we get like a 70th minute goal to kind of seal the deal and just kind of put it away. And it's a tough place to play. Like the last game that we played at that pitch, I remember it very vividly. Is Everton was on a horrible stretch run, and the weather there was ugly. So it was like it was just like one of those dreadful games, but we let it slip. We should have won probably like pretty handily, like 3-0 or something like that, and ended up losing 2-1. And one of their guys scored a goal. Gray scored a goal at the end to kind of break our hearts, and that was a horrible, horrible loss in hindsight. And this is just another one of those matches in the revenge tour that I've made up in my head, where just all these games are going to that we lost points at. Like we're gonna hopefully turn it around and flip it from zero points to 3 points. And I think it's gonna be a key game in terms of our players. But as we've seen every single game, every time we've said our players got to step up, they've done it. So I don't expect this to be any different.
Yeah, bro. It's been amazing this season. As you was calling it a revenge tour, but the way we've gone to the grounds that we lost at last year and just dominated the games and won them comfortably right from the start of the season against Crystal Palace. So expecting more of the same. As you said, with them, they're gonna adopt probably their Burnley tactic. So hopefully we can get that early goal. That will go a long way to making the game a lot more comfortable for us. Because that obviously will force them to come out. I mean, I'm confident we'll pick them off and get a comfortable win. What's your correct score prediction?
Um, yeah, I'm gonna stick to it. Say 2-0. Um, I think we get an early goal from Nketiah again. I think he's hot. Continue going well. And I think we get a late goal from someone like Odegaard or maybe somebody even on the defensive end. Like Zinchenko or something like that. Like just we're gonna have to probably scrap and fight for that second goal. But I think we get an early goal. Um, first 10, 15 minutes, and I think that puts us in control of the match. Um, so I'm gonna say 2-0. What do you think? You've been closer to predictions than I have, man. Again, I continue to just be scared of these games and going into it nervous, and we end up just like dominating all these games that I'm scared
Uh, as I was saying earlier, a bit of a tricky game, so I'm a little bit worried. But at the same time, we've been playing so well and we're so confident. I just see us overrunning them. I'm going for 3-0.
about. Oh, I'll
Yeah,
take a 3-0, man.
yeah, 3-0. I reckon we'll get an early goal. Then second half, when they've got to come at us, we'll just pick them off, get a couple more, and comfortable 3-0 win and put the pressure on City. So let's talk about them now. They've got Tottenham away. They played Tottenham just a couple of weeks ago. I remember speaking to you about that one, and like, we saw the scoreline at half time. It was 2-0. Next thing you know, it's 2-2. And Man City went on to win comfortably 4-2. What's your thoughts?
Uh, quick question. Is that going to be
So that's at Tottenham's ground, yeah. The one before a couple
Tottenham's ground?
of years ago, yeah. That's one
Okay,
thing
yeah.
they're at home. So, and they've played well against City in recent times. Even that game they just lost. They messed up in the second half, but they played well in the first half to go 2-0 ahead. And if I remember right, last season they got a couple of draws off them.
They
So
they actually they actually won both matches last year.
they won both. I thought it was draws. Wow. So that's
Yeah,
really impressive, yeah, to have that
yeah,
record.
they won 1-0 in August and then 3-2. I remember watching that 3-2 match in February. Yeah, they took those points off of City. It's crazy, right? I don't know. I'm it's weird it sucks to say this, but I'm kind of rooting for Tottenham to kind of get a little bit of a revenge, especially since the game is so close to when the last time they played. Like I think they'll be able to show up and play a little bit better. They're a little bit tougher to beat at home, but again, their biggest issue is falling behind early. And the one time they go ahead early, they completely just get steamrolled in the second half. So I'm kind of hoping they maybe get it together at least for one game and pull off a victory. But I think I predicted a draw last time, and I'm going to predict a draw again. I don't think they're going to be that good enough to get a victory against City. They're going to probably ruin their chances of getting a win. So I'm going to say a 2-2 draw, and I hope this time around I'm correct.
That would be great. City would drop 2 points. Tottenham 2 would drop 2 points.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah,
the best case scenario.
result for us. Yeah. So there, let's hope that it'll be another great weekend for us and we can extend the lead on Man City. Brian, really important thing happened today. Gabriel Martinelli signed his contract extension. So great to see. He's been an amazing signing for us. So young still, just getting better and better. We've got him tied down to that long-term contract now. Really happy.
Hell yeah, man. we still need Saka and Saliba, but I don't even want to worry about that right now. Like that'll happen when it happens or whatever. Right now is like Gabby Martinelli appreciation moment because yes, such a big player. Found him like who knows what the cost was to bring him to Arsenal, right? As a youth, in like second division Brazil soccer, brought him over here, and he's just done nothing but flourish, right? Overcame a tough injury early on, and there was some times we're wondering like, does Arteta hate this guy because he like wasn't playing a lot, right? But he finally got his spot in the starting 11, and he just has not given it up, right? And I think even with Trossard here, you can tell basically, right, just because he did sign his contract, like he knows his place, and he knows like even if he doesn't start every game, he knows where he belongs, and it's here with Arsenal, man. And I really like the post they put up with him talking about like how much he loves the club, man, and how much it feels like an extended family, if you will. I'm not always a big fan of like saying the family thing like that, but it's a little bit different with this group because like they're coming up together, they're growing together, and he believes. I really think when we brought in Odegaard and we brought in Jesus, we beat out teams without having Champions League football. It really solidified exactly what we were trying to do. And then this just takes it a step further. We got a guy who came up from the academy, not academy, but from the youth side, um, and staking his claim and saying like, "This is my club. I want to win here," and just big day for the club, big day for fans, for him and his family. And we get to see him stick around. I'm thinking like I still haven't bought the black and gold away kit, and like I wanted to get a play. Like I've gotten the other ones, but I don't typically get a player name, and I'm probably gonna get Martinelli just because I love his attitude as a player, and he's just been exciting. And I was so close a couple years ago to getting the 35, but I was like, somebody told me to wait because I didn't know that you could switch numbers. And so they're like, once you move up, like you switch numbers. And so I'm like, all right, I'll wait till he gets like his final number. So when he got the 11, I was like, all right, I'll wait till he signed his contract. And then, yep, that 11 Martinelli is going to look good on the shirt. So I might do that. We'll see. I haven't decided yet, but pretty excited, man. It's one of my favorite players. I love the kid.
Yeah, bro. Me too. Great news for us. Let's hope soon we'll get Saliba and Saka as well. Very confident we will. Then Rem three are going to be a huge part of our future. All three so young, great players already. Just going to get better and better. It's looking really good for our future. Before we go, as we normally do a couple of predictions for some of the other games. So Man United are playing Crystal Palace. Thoughts on that one?
Oh, yeah, that was a 1-1 draw, right? That Palace stole a couple points off of that one, or 1 point, excuse me. I'm gonna go for another draw. I don't think United is particularly very impressive when they play up against tougher competition, as we've seen. Excuse me. Even though they have been winning their games in the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup or whatever, like they're playing these really like they're not playing very good teams, and they're not doing a whole lot of rotation. I've been following it a little bit, and like they're playing a lot of their big players in all these games, and I think it's gonna pay a toll. And I'm kind of hoping, I don't know, maybe we might see our boy Lokonga out there showing out and maybe have himself a nice little debut for Crystal Palace. But otherwise, I think Palace puts it to them. It is in Old Trafford, so maybe United come out look a little bit stronger at the beginning. But I think Palace is going to they're a tough out, and they that draw almost felt like a win to them. So I feel like they keep riding that momentum, and they're going to continue getting better and making it tougher on the teams they play. So I'm going to another draw. We'll say another 1-1 draw.
Okay. Wolverhampton against Liverpool.
Ooh, Wolves fighting against relegation, right? They're 17th, so they're right outside of it. They're not really. I don't really. They don't really have anybody who's. it's hard for them to score. So I think Liverpool ends up winning this game, something like 1-0. It's not going to be a very impressive match. Liverpool still don't look very good at all. Their last match, another disappointing game for them against Brighton. Brighton looked good. Or Chelsea just might be bad, or Liverpool, excuse me, might be bad. Um, Liverpool won this one 1-0 the last time they played, but I think it was an FA Cup match. So I'm gonna pick a 1-1 draw again. A lot of draws this weekend. I feel like there's not gonna be a whole lot of separation or changes in the table.
Yeah, but I'm so sorry, bro. One sec, my kids just came back with my wife.
Okay, I
Yeah,
mean, I'll let them do their things. I'll go get the thing and come back.
but keep them quiet. Yeah, tell them to stay
Yeah,
quiet.
I think they give you.
Tell them I'm filming, not to bother me. Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Go, go, go.
Wait, tell me what's the-
Sorry, bro. One sec.
Guys, go to
Cool.
your bed.
All right, bro. All right, cool. So we've got one more prediction to do, and then I'm just going to finish with asking you about the amount of points you think we need. Yeah. So we're nearly
Yep.
done. All right, 3, 2, 1. Okay, and then Newcastle have got West Ham.
Newcastle got West Ham. I think Newcastle uh, wins that very easily, something like 2-0. I don't think West Ham are having a great season. They're probably going to get relegated, and Newcastle are just going to. I think Newcastle are going to be the team that we might have to worry about the most outside of City, of course. But yeah, we'll say 2-0.
Yeah, bro. What's so amazing is apart from City, all other teams, we don't really look at them as our direct rivals right now because we've got such a lead over them. I know there's still obviously a long way to go, but the kind of leads we go over them, like the third place team, Man United, 11 points with a game in hand. So we're in such a great place. It's so nice to be able to say this that we're so comfortably ahead of everyone. Even City to have a 5-point lead over them with a game in hand is a really big lead. So great times for us. And to finish with, I'm going to ask you one more thing now related to the title race. In terms of the stage we're at now, we have played 19 games. What a start, bro. 50 points. It's amazing. How many more points do you think we need from the second half of the season now, the last 19 games, to win the title?
Oof. So just looking at, because I think the more important thing is like where City is, right? So we have a game in hand right now. We play them twice. We're 5 points ahead. City are still playing in Champions League. We're still playing in Europa League, but I think the Champions League is a little bit, and also City is still in the FA Cup. So they've got a lot more games and they have a lot of that. Like they have a lot to worry about. Um, and even if fans talk about like, oh, we're okay with losing this competition if it means a title, or this competition if it means a trophy, like I think ultimately these coaches, these players want to win literally every game, right? It doesn't matter. Like you don't go into that mindset of, oh, we'll fuck this game off. Like then you can get hurt, disrespectful to the opponent, like bad things could happen, right? So you play every game like you want to try and win. But also at the same time, you can still make coaching decisions to prioritize. Like you can almost tell exactly, like Arteta taking Saka off in the 88th minute or 70th minute kind of lets you know, all right, where the priority is. So, and I'm just glancing at their schedule and the teams they have to play. I mean, ultimately, like we all end up playing the same teams, but it looks like they have a little bit of a, I don't know. I'm gonna say it's gonna be really hard to replicate this first half run, but I think we almost have to do that to win, just because City is so strong. And if but if we can win at least one of the games, like that gives us an 8-point cushion. Man, this is really harder than I expected. Um, I'm gonna say the magic number's got to be something like 90 points, right? I'm gonna go 90. Is that a bad prediction?
No, bro, it's a difficult
Okay.
question. It's a difficult one because it's 19 games we're talking about. It's not like I'm saying to you, there's 5 games to go now or 10 games even. Like, it's a big amount of games. 19 games. That's a possible 57 points. And we're obviously comparing, as you're saying, looking at what City situation is as well in terms of what we would need. Main thing is we can only concentrate on ourselves and just take it game by game, bro. Just a question I was putting out there to see your thoughts. I think 90 this season should be enough. We've seen it in some of the seasons that City won the title in recent times. They've gone on to get like 96, I think, 91 of the seasons. So that's unlikely this season with how they're going. So I don't think we need as much as that. I think 90, as you're saying, should do it. And maybe a couple less than that might even do it. But the way we're going, if we've managed to get 50 from this first 19, just need 40 more from the next 19. When you look at it,
That would
like,
be good.
yeah, that's given us quite a bit of leeway. And the way we're playing, I can see us comfortably doing that. So, yeah, bro, no, it's a difficult question, bro.
I will say this. I will say this. What I've been worrying about most of this time is I want obviously like our first goal, right? After the last season ended and going into the summer, this and this, like it was Champions League, right? Like let's get Champions League. That's what we went in the season, like, hey, that's what we need to do to elevate. That's the next step, right? We just missed it. This time, let's get it. We've set it up to the point where we're kind of moving the goalposts and saying, shit, let's go for the league. And we're going for the league, but the way I'm watching and the way I'm looking at it, and I've had this conversation actually with somebody at the tavern, um, is I'm looking at points to secure Champions League and given like the history, 75 points should basically just be a guaranteed Champions League spot. So we're 25 points away from that. So if at the point we get to our 75th point and we're within, we're still at top of the league or we're within like 4 or 5 points of that margin, then I'm gonna start saying like, fuck, let's win the league. Let's win the league. Like, even I've said like, yes, I think we're gonna win the league. How I'm taking it game by game is let's get to the next step. And the next step is securing Champions League. And so 75 points. And then when we get to 75, I'm gonna be like, fuck it, let's go. Because right now I'm even saying like, hey man, if we don't win the league, I don't consider it like a bottle job. There were the narrative is already coming out saying if Arsenal doesn't win the title, like, is it the biggest bottle job ever, or did they bottle it? Right, like that's sort of the narrative. It went from City is inevitable, can Arsenal hold off City, and now they're starting to creep in and say, if Arsenal win, did they flop? Did they fuck it up? And I'm like, I don't even want to go there yet. I'm just saying, hey, let's get 75 points. Let's get Champions League. And then we can talk about bottling and this or whatever. Obviously, no, I want to rephrase that. I don't want to talk about bottling. I think at that point, then I'll just be like, all right, let's go for the league. Obviously, that's just me as a fan. That's my approach to kind of manage the anxiety. Everybody has their own way, but that's where I'm at, right? So I think the numbers game that I'm playing right now is 75 points first, and then let's see where we're at, and then boom, let's go. So like that's just no, but I really like that question of thinking like how many points do we need to win the league? So it's like from 75, and then oh shit, if we just need 15 more points, like boom, let's go, let's fucking get it. Like that's amazing. So little benchmarks to hit the thing, right? So we're 2/3 of the way to Champions League, and we're probably like a little bit further along to just secure the league. A lot can happen, but I'm so excited, man. Like we got halfway to go. It's money, and Chelsea and Fulham just drew 0-0. It was kind of a little bit scrappy toward the end, but nobody really threatened to score. Both of these teams suck. So levels, bro. Levels. Well, Fulham's actually, I'll give credit. They're playing well. They came up from the championship. So 32 points, sixth place for them. That's really good. Chelsea 9th at 30th. Pitiful, bro. Fuck Chelsea.
Yeah, it's crazy the amount of money they've spent. Like, we've spent ridiculous amount of money.
Yep.
They're still all over the place struggling. It's gonna obviously take them time, to gel them different players they've bought all of a sudden in such a short space of time. But yeah,
Absolutely.
it's nice seeing them struggle. Long may that continue. And yeah, just talking about the overall title race, for people to be saying bottle job, that's ridiculous. I remember many seasons where teams have had massive leads and have got overturned, right? So to try and label that mass a bottle job if we weren't to go and secure it is ridiculous, especially when you consider how young our squad is and the caliber of opposition we're against. A team like Man City that won it 4 of the last 5 years, with the players they have, the manager they have, like, come on, like, we're doing so great to be in the position we're in, and hopefully we can go on and seal it and win the title. But if we didn't, it's far from a bottle job. It's an outstanding season for us. So yeah, anyone that's talking about that's ridiculous. There's a lot of people hating, bro. A lot of people hating.
A lot of people, yeah. It's starting to get silly, but it comes to the territory, man, and I get it. So I just want people to chill. Like I just want it to be like, nah, let's cool it on the bottling. Like it's like we're overachieving. Young team, like, come on, man. Like we weren't even expecting this. Like, how can you go from the beginning of the season saying Arsenal are gonna I even heard some people say they're gonna still miss top 4, like at the beginning of the season. They're like, nah, they're not gonna, they're maybe 5th or 6th. Like to go from that narrative to now you're already starting to shift towards like this narrative, like come on, like take it easy. Let's go down a little bit. A lot of games to go. A lot of games to go.
Yeah, bro, for sure, for
But I
sure.
feel it. I'm feeling very good.
Yeah, bro, me too. It's exciting times. Looking forward to tomorrow and looking forward to seeing you for our show next week. Thanks a lot, bro.
My pleasure, man. We'll be up bright and early, drinking some coffee. Yeah, this will be a great day.
Yeah, bro. So that's all from us. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please remember to subscribe, like, and share.